Welcome to a special edition of Coach's Corner. As the summer of 2014 hits, you're going to see our football kind of preview show coming up this summer as we get set for the high school football season. No, it's not here yet, and we don't want to get too far ahead of ourselves, but high school football is becoming more and more like college football in the sense that practice time is becoming more and more, and it's also more and more valuable to all these schools. Josh Allen, our head football coach, entering his third season. It doesn't seem possible, but here we've sat, Coach, for 3 years doing this, and you were optimistic coming in. You were really optimistic last year, but you're even more optimistic this summer and this coming season.
I have a lot to be optimistic about. So, and well said there, opening up about the nature of high school sports nowadays with spring practices and 7-on-7s. You know, when I was in high school, just in the mid-'90s, you started to have some team camps, and of course you had the summer pride weight programs, but we didn't have this type of spring ball that we have nowadays. 10 practices with 2-hour pads. We couldn't do that when I played, and then also the 7-on-7s and things like that's grown through the years. So yeah, the dedication that 6A programs and high school programs in general, no matter what class. They've got to be pretty dedicated if you want to have a successful fall.
I can hear Kenny Ray and Rusty Benson and Ron Harmon and all those coaches, the great coaches of the 70s and 80s, going, I could have used another 2 weeks of practice during the school year.
Absolutely.
But I'm sure coaches back then wanted that. It didn't come about. I guess maybe they are listening now.
Now, one thing that the older, what you just mentioned is they had more true two-a-days at the beginning of August. So they made up, school. There was actually probably a week or two before school started. We start school on practice number 2. So we open up on August 11th. School starts August 12th. So spring ball for us is huge because we want to, it will give us an advantage. We'll be able to open up August 11th, having 8 practices, spring ball practices, and 2 team camps, and then the 7-on-7. So we'll be ready to go by August 11th. But we don't get those 2-a-days that I think you used to get. I remember when I played, you'd have a week and a half of just no school but nothing but football, and sometimes 2 practices a day.
And as we get into these practices and then the summer, there's a fine line, especially for kids in communities like Ponca City where a lot of them have played all sports, basketball, wrestling, the spring sports. And I'm sure there is some concern with Coach Allen and your staff that at some point we got to let them take a breath, and I'm sure that's coming after you get done with them here.
Yeah. We really, honestly, we finish up our last team camp. We only go to 2. We go June 2nd and 3rd, Stillwater, June 15th, 16th, and Emporia State, and then we're done. The rest of the summer is just weightlifting and running in the mornings, 2 hours. 7 to 9. That's about the only commitment. And then we, like I say, 7-on-7. We do on Wednesdays from 10 a.m. to noon at Arc City High or Stillwater High. They're not long drives. We do have some 7-on-7s, and then that's really what the summer is. So honestly, after June 16th, it's really just pretty much just morning workouts, majority of the summer, and that's about it.
What are you seeing 3 years into your football program at Ponca City High School? What are the things that you notice that are different about the athletes or the way our football program is proceeding at this time?
Oh yeah, I'll say this. I was telling the guy, listen, as much as I love those guys in 2012, I would not have had the attendance today that I had today at spring ball. We didn't have school today. We didn't have school in session today, and I was only missing a few guys. So point being, I think our commitment level is increasing year after year, and that's a great thing. We got to have that, and I think our weight room. We had a lift-a-thon May 8th, and I've never, our numbers, a number of guys benching, 200 plus and back squatting 300 plus, and cleaning, 200 plus is more than it's been. So we are bigger, stronger. I don't necessarily say bigger. We are stronger than we have been. now it's bigger. My first year, that was a big high school football team. I don't have the size that I had in 2012 naturally, but I got great buy-in in the weight room. We're going to be we're going to be we're going to be good enough to where we can compete at every weekend. So I'm really excited about that.
When I first came on about 5 minutes ago, and you were smiling, and I said, "What about the optimism for the upcoming season?" And it wasn't like that after every Friday last year. You put sophomores out there. You put kids that should have been playing Mondays and did play on Mondays in JV games, and it was a struggle a lot of the season last year. But when you go into a season, the payoff is going to come, and we have so many returning lettermen, we have so many returning starters, Coach. And again, these are still pretty young guys. A lot of them are juniors, but 40 quarters of play last year. They've got to be miles ahead because you guys are willing to make that sacrifice with those guys.
Absolutely. You just said it right there. I mean, there's guys that's got 40 quarters in literally because they either played more, big chunk of Friday night and a big chunk of Monday night, and that was the goal. The goal last year for a lot of it was if we were going to be a young team, then our young guys are going to get thrown out there Friday and Monday night. They're going to get a lot of football under the lights as much as they can, and so those guys are returning, and so our JV team went undefeated. That's not a full indicator of a prediction, but that is some prediction because a lot of those teams have to play those guys, this upcoming year. So the guys I have are going to be experienced, and we're really excited about that. So better said it. Yeah, we got a lot of guys playing time, even though you're right, it was tough last year because some guys were just honestly they were too young to be out there. It's hard when you have a certain number of sophomores playing on Friday nights, and that's what had to happen. And so, but it's going to benefit us in the future.
How practices this 2-week session? How have those practices gone?
Good. We've already had 1 week of spring ball, and went great. I'm telling you what, I finished up Thursday. We finished up Thursday with week 1, and I was very happy. Especially with our defense. Let me just say our defense is going to be much improved, and not only much improved, I think we could have one of the best front sevens in 6A next year. I mean, we're going to be very talented, especially at the linebackers. Adam Nicholas, Jesse Ford, Austin Hersick, Dalton Missouri, or Adam Hoke. We're just really deep there. We got a couple of young guys: Austin Fry, Braden Presnall, Charles Medina, Dalton White. I mean, we're just really deep at linebacker, and really excited about that. And you look at our D line: Jordan Kimbrell's returning, Alex Steger. Those guys have gotten bigger and stronger. I'm really excited about that. We got to open. We got to find a nose guard. So that is going to be an open position for us. We had a guy, we had one of our guys that's moving that we need to find a nose guard. So, we're still looking for that. Secondary, we've got a lot of candidates for secondary. I mean, we have a lot of guys returning too, but it's very open. All positions are open, but it's we're still looking at it's still very competitive. I'll use that word, very competitive in the back end, the secondary. So we got plenty of guys to choose from. But to answer your question, defense is going to be much improved. I think is going to be a strength for us. And our offensive line, I'll tell you what, man. After practice 4, our offensive line started to gel. It sometimes takes, even if you're a veteran, it takes a few days when you've had some layoff for offense sometimes to get clicking. And by practice 4, our line was really clicking. And they know the scheme. They're better at their technique. They're more physical because they're bigger and stronger. So our O-line, look for us to be very, very, to lean heavily on our O-line actually this year. Wide receivers and quarterbacks, we got some returners there, some guys there, and they're going to be, Logan Champlin's got a chance to have a great year. We got Dexter and Del Arita that we're looking to get back out on the field on there, and then But we're going to have a handful of guys back there to choose from. So Michael Mongol, Connell Larson are, they're in a quarterback battle, and it's good for a team. The best guy, let the best guy win. And we got options there.
Well, so many people talk about quarterback, but to me, you've got 1 and 1A. Whoever starts, you're probably going to find playing time for both those guys,
absolutely.
and I would imagine that they're both are going to get looks at other positions.
They
too,
would
so.
not. No, you're exactly right, Phil. Those guys will not be on the sideline. They're both great athletes, both great kids, and they've got to be on the field. So if not at quarterback, some other position. But feel great about the quarterback position, and both guy brings his own different style. And has their different strengths. So we will have a tough decision as a coaching staff, who we end up going with on that. And it might be something too that if we decide that the other guy needs to be ready at any time, it might be something that we're not afraid to switch up during games throughout the season. But you're definitely right, Phil. If one's not playing quarterback, one will be learning another position.
And this thing is really strange because when you came in 3 years ago, I always tend to look at sophomore and ninth grade classes, and we could see, Coach, when you came in your first year, that the classes that were then sophomores and now seniors and ninth graders and now they're juniors, those kids were really good at the junior high and at the 10th grade level. You kind of had an inkling that when those kids got into your program, and now we're seeing last year's ninth grade class, they were an excellent team last year, the 8th grade class moving into ninth grade. That's where you build your program, and that's how you build a program and get it consistent and stay a winner. Don't you feel like now we're getting to the point where we're bringing kids into our program, up into your high school program, that are just better athletes and just have more experience, and that's how we're going to be a winning football team?
Absolutely. Our first of all, numbers have been great every year I've been here in the 9th and 8th grade. Coach Steffi had over 60 8th graders last year. We're excited. The 9th grade is, both years the 9th grade has really had, has had winning records. And so I'm excited. You're exactly right. That's where you build a program. We got to keep them involved as much as possible and keep them excited, and hopefully they have fun experiences, and we can keep that numbers going. There can be some vertical connection between what the varsity's doing a little bit, between what the 9th and 8th grade do, as far as scheme, and that we can already get something kind of taught. And, then our weight and lifting program, get them acclimated into that, and that's what we got to do.
I guess what I'm trying to say is that there was pressure to play sophomores the last couple of years.
Yeah.
Even though this sophomore class may be as good, if not better, there may not be the pressure to have to throw kids out there.
Yeah, good point. Yeah, we're going to get, hopefully, this year's going to hit a point where we won't have to play the numbers of sophomores that we have to. Because you're right, Phil, that's honestly not a good thing. Friday nights for sophomores in 6A, you don't, maybe you have a few, what I mean a few, 2 or 3. You start getting past that, and that's probably not a good thing. It's still really a senior, junior, type. Those 2 years really make up your varsity ball clubs, and your sophomores have a year to get acclimated. They're kind of in a no man's land. It's JV ball, and maybe, like I said, a few get a little bit on Friday nights, but mostly JV ball. And that's kind of how you want it. If you're having to play a whole bunch of sophomores, then you're right. There is a kink in the system a little bit.
From a psychological standpoint, do the guys talk much about the 6A split and the schedule next year and the chance to make the playoffs and advance on? Is that much of a conversation piece?
I haven't hit it too hard, but no, it will be. I mean, I'm going to bring that up to our guys as, guys, listen, not only do we want to make the playoffs, but when we get in the playoffs, we have a shot to make a run. Whereas before, if you were a 4 seed, you were going to go play Jinx or Broken Arrow or something, and not don't get me wrong, not that those guys are invincible or anything like that, but it was just hard psychologically sometimes to get your guys up. To whereas, listen, if you're a 4 seed, you might be playing a Midwest City or a Lawton or something, and trust me, I mean 4 seeds, 1 seeds are always tough, but you'd have a shot. There'd be an upset possibility. If you're a 3 seed, you're going to play the other side's 2 seed, which could be Enid. It could be Stillwater. Very well. So. Those are, you look at the matchup psychologically. Those schools don't just totally, don't put the normal here we go again,
right,
type thing. And so I think we get the playoffs. It's literally an open. It could be some exciting playoff football where you could get lower seeds winning.
What are you gonna do this summer, Coach? You got a little bit of camp and probably just try to get until August when you can get everybody in there, huh?
Yeah. I'm gonna enjoy summer. I got. The Allen family's got a new addition, baby Bo, born April 16th. So we're coming on over a month now with Bo, and so spending some time with Sawyer, my oldest. He'll be turning 3 in August, and spending time with him and Bo is and my wife Amy. That'll be what I do after I leave the summer workouts in the mornings or stuff, and I'll just see what the family's doing and hit the pool a little bit, and maybe hit some golf a little bit, and that's pretty much it. Try to relax a little.
Well, the Wildcat family grew by 1, as you mentioned, but as we record this, the Wildcat family is pretty stable right now. It looks like most of the guys are coming back, and they're going to work with you, and that's helpful too for the head coach and the assistants.
Actually, assistant coaches, yeah. All assistant coaches are from last season are back, and you're right. That stability is huge. We're just starting to, assistant coaches are starting to, know what I expect, and we're just going. A lot of them are going on the 3rd year, and certain coaches have really taken charge of their position and their side of the ball, and players know who they are, and and know their personalities, and so it's going well there, and everybody knows the playbook and things like that. So yeah, we're just that much more comfortable.
September 5th at Enid. It'll be here before we know it, Coach. Thanks. Good luck to you, and we'll see you this summer, and of course in August when we get a little closer to the football season. Coach Allen will be a regular in our Coach's Corner as we get set for the high school football season.